Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday, it's May 13th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and we continue to push higher. Our next target was this lower part of this trend channel here, and we met that. It looks like we touched that and backed off. If we do continue higher, our next goal would be the upper side, or maybe even a measured move. Actually, I don't have this right based on how far we overshot. I guess I do. From there to there, how far we overshot the channel, and so that would get us just above the range. So our next two targets would be up here if we keep going higher. So that's what we're looking at. We're getting very overbought here, but we were very oversold, so we may get an equal move on the other side. We will just have to see how that works out. But I mean, just a few days back, a week or so back, it felt like it would have been impossible to make this measured move, and we've done that and surpassed it now. So we could just be making a retest of this breakout area, and we could turn back down. We'll see. We've got more than a measured leg up here, but we may get an equal move outside the bands, and we may be headed to retest the highs. I mean, I think if we hit this high here, I think that'll be an all-time new high for this contract, which would be pretty remarkable since everybody was calling for the end and this market was going to crash. And it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. Don't listen to those people; they don't know what they're talking about. Nobody knows what the market's going to do longer term. The chart gives you a better indication of that than anything. So, and again, my opinion is they make the news up to fit the price action. So, I won't deny that the news does affect the market temporarily, but longer term, I think they make everything up to meet the price action and match the price action. So anyway, looks like we're still working higher. We closed higher again today. So um, have we topped out yet? I don't know. I mean, we're overdue for a correction, no doubt, but doesn't mean we're not going higher still. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. Let's flip over to our 2,000 tick chart and take a look and go through our trades, and we'll wrap this day up. Okay, here it is. You can see we had this spike up. I'd call this a spike and maybe channel. This is a big spike up and then a big channel, and we finally sold off and kind of broke that and closed a little off the highs before the day was over late in the afternoon. So that's how I saw it in the big picture. But let's zoom in here. We did have a news item at 7:30 this morning. We had the CPI news come out. That's high volatility stuff, so you want to be flat before it comes out, and you can see it did rally up pretty strongly. Didn't last very long, it just really gave two legs back, and there was a second entry here. I think things had calmed down by the end, so I think you could take that second entry. Notice the new high, first entry. Technically, we did break higher right here by a tick or so, it looks like, but that still looks like two legs back to the EMA. On a bigger picture, that's a second entry. I'm going to take it, and I think you're fine taking that. Somebody else sent me this trade, and I don't think they had that break higher. If they did, it didn't look like it. I want to say they didn't have that break. It happened on my chart, though, so whether or not it happened on yours, I still think it looks like two legs back. I think you can clearly take that as a second entry. Plus, you got your trend working down, close outside, new high. There was a higher low here, but I don't like that. It's too sideways, too congested. And you see it didn't really go anywhere. We were probably coming back to the main trend line. And here you get about three legs back, and then we bounce. Um, I mean, that's like a first entry, second entry, third entry, and that's just a continuation of third entry. So this would be a higher low. I like it. And there is a reversal type pattern here as well. I think you can go first entry, second entry, but it's right into the high, so I don't like it. And it looks a little sideways as well. I just skip that. And then we work our way on up. There is another, I think this is, no, I can't remember if we make a new high here or not. 76.50. 76.50. So yeah, that is a second entry long right there, but it's just sideways. Don't take that. I don't like it. And then we get a leg back. That's just the first entry, but then we turn down and you get a second entry here. But I think this would, it's really close. I mean, it doesn't like we go away from and come back here. It's really close if that's a triple test, but it's right at the key entry point. I think you can take that trade. It's not perfect, but I think you can argue that one maybe as a triple test. You know, you want to see prices pull away. They do pull away here and they come back. It looks like they go higher here and then come back. So I think you can quantify that as a triple test and take that. Either way, I still think it looks like two legs back here to the key entry point. You get a leg back here, a move up, and this looks like two legs back as well. So I think you can take that trade. And it just takes off. This is a really, really strong trend here. And there's actually a secondary trend line that I don't have drawn here. And this is one of those where any signal bar that comes back to the key entry point, you probably could take it. So you could probably enter here or here. I don't think that one qualifies, and then you're outside of that, but it just keeps going higher and higher. Finally, it comes back here, and you get a first entry, and there's another second entry here, but that's just too sideways, too congested. Yeah, it would have worked, but don't risk it. And then you get a second leg down here. So to me, this looks like a leg down, a two-legged correction, and another leg down. This is usually the center of the pattern, so when you get this nice bar, I like going long there. That's basically a second entry on a bigger chart. And then we make this double top here. I'm not crazy about it. It looks like maybe we had a bigger channel here, but at the very least you had this one working down here. I think this is a separate leg because of the two legs in the middle. So this is your first break, and then you get a couple of legs down to a new low. This is just too sideways. I don't like entering there. Maybe you take that second entry short right there. It's a two-bar matching high. It's a double top. You might take that one. You're better off to wait on the lower high, which comes here. And you might even classify that as a lower high. But I think you need a lower high following the second entry. And you just can't go short way down here. It's just moved too far. But we do get the break, move to a new low, and then we get strong support here. This one's really hard to argue as a triple test because that just looks like congestion. So, but it does come back and pull up and come back again there. So you at least have a double bottom and a higher low here. So I think you can take that trade, trading it that way after the new low here. I did mark it green because it's not perfect, but it's a good enough signal bar as well. And then of course you're working up, and again you get a first entry, second entry, but we're not back to the trend line, what looks like the trend line here. So notice you get your break and move back. And again, this looks like a repeat pattern of the one back here where you come down, you get the two-legged correction, then another leg down. So you get a leg down. It looks like a little two-legged correction, then another leg down. That's what it looks like to me. So it looks like two legs back to the key entry point. It's not a perfect signal bar either, so I just marked it green. You do get a good high or low here, and that is a second entry because this makes a new swing high. So first entry, second entry. I like going long there. And then, excuse me, you can argue that this is a continuation pattern. It's a failed second entry right off the key entry point. So maybe you take that one too. The signal bar is not perfect, but if you're trading as a failure, it doesn't matter anyway. And this one just keeps chopping higher with first entries. There is a second entry long here. I'm not crazy about going long up here in this upper tier because every time we've only been up here once before and we turned right back down, and this one would have worked. I mean, it's one of the problems is if you draw your trend down, you don't get your break and new low. You get a break, but you never make a new low. But it's still a second entry. It's at the midline. That's a secondary key entry point. So maybe you take that. I think the signal bar is fine. And you see it just doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of chops sideways and then shoots up and turns down. So nothing in here you want to enter on. And we did make a new high here. So the break of this moved to a new high. And then we get two legs down here. We got a leg down and then another little two-legged correction here. There's a second entry long here, but you don't want to go long right there. And you can't go short. But then you definitely get a triple test down here. The signal bar is just not very good, though. I don't think you can enter on that signal bar even with a triple test. And it does confirm that trend line. And then you get another second entry here, but the signal bar is way too bearish. First entry, second entry, but signal bar is no good. You're still in this channel. You finally get a break, move to a new low, but there's no setup that triggers there. And then we just take off higher with no setup. But notice we get a lower high here. You got your break, several swings to a new high, and you turn down right off what looks like the top of the trend channel. It hadn't been confirmed or anything, but it's still, everything else fits here really well. So I like going short there. Just taking a lower high and riding it back to the EMA. We come back, just the first entry there and nothing here. Finally get a close outside right here. We're chopping around. I don't see any entries here. You can't go long right there. You might go short here, but you just don't have much room, and it's a huge bar. I can't even remember I don't think you have enough. See, it's only a point. If you'd have taken it, and the other problem is it doesn't trigger till here, and I don't think you want to go short on that inside bar, so you really can't enter there anyway. I made a note here because you got at least a triple test here, and if you take that one, you can see it would have failed on you. But notice what happened. We had a failed breakout at the top. We haven't come down and touched the trend line, which is where you would think we were headed. So I think you have to wait. I think you want to be going short if you see that trend line right there. There's no reason to go long yet. You get the break, move to a new low, and then it takes off. Now, this one was tempting, but it didn't break above it. The higher low is an inside bar, and it just kind of takes off, and you don't get a chance to enter. Now, there are two legs back here. Again, this is not really a second entry because there's first entry here and then a second entry right here. And so you do make a new high. So that's just a first entry. The signal bar is no good anyway. It runs up, makes a new high, and turns down. And notice we do make a triple test here with a good signal bar. It's not quite 230. If it breaks above that, I like going long. And that took it a minute, but you would have gotten out of that with no problems. And that took us into 230. So, yeah, you had some periods where you had some trades in here, and then you had some periods where you just had to sit tight. A lot of it was we just weren't getting any signal bars. And sometimes that happens. Not all the time, but it does happen. So just you have to make the best of it. Don't force trades. I got a lot of people that sent me some trades today. I'm not going to go over them today. I don't have time. Maybe if I don't get some more tomorrow, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. But had several trades people sent me. I think one or two of them were just okay. Several of them I would say no, you shouldn't. Even and I think they all worked. I don't remember if they were any of them were losers. I think that some of them worked. Most all of them worked. But they're just not high probability entry. So that's one reason I tell you to study even the winners, because you don't want to reinforce bad habits. Because if you're taking a trade that only works half the time, and it works, and you reinforce that that's okay to take, then somewhere down the road you're going to have losers you weren't expecting because you thought you were taking good trades like that. So the idea is to only take the trades that are high probability all the time, meaning they're going to work 8, 9, or 10 times out of 10. Those are the ones you want to be taking if you want to trade above 70 or 80% consistently. If you start taking these trades that work some of the times, and and they're iffy for one reason or another, then you're going to have some losers, and just count on it. And you're not going to be able to get up there at the 80 or 90% win rate. And that should be your goal, to hit 80 to 90% or higher. And it can be done. It's not as hard as you think it is. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy, but once you learn to read this chart, it gets a whole lot easier. And it can be done consistently. I don't care what anybody tells you, it can be done. We're only trying to get 4 ticks. That's it. Anything else is gravy. So if anybody tells you it can't be done, they don't know what they're talking about. But just because they can't do it doesn't mean it can't be done. And we have lots of people doing it. So keep studying your charts. Make sure that you study your winners as well. And I'm telling you, I continue to get email after email from my videos a week or so ago where I tried to tell people that the most important thing you can be doing is sim trading, taking every trade and then studying it, because people are coming back to me and saying, I finally decided to try that, Mac, and guess what? It works. I'm getting better. I already see the mistakes I'm making. I'm already getting better. You were right. So, for whatever reason, I know it's hard to do, but just trust me and just try it and see what happens for you, because that's the key. So, it's not that hard to learn the strategy and the rules of what we're trying to do, but the key is you need the screen time and experience, and you can't get that trying to trade live, taking 2 or 3 trades a day. You're not going to get there fast enough, because you're not going to get enough experience, and you're not going to get enough. The one thing trading on the simulator does is once you start to get it right, you start to get a lot of confidence, and that really carries over when you go live. And you don't get that confidence taking 1 or 2 trades a day, trading live and losing half the time on top of that. You don't get any confidence. You need experience, lots of screen time, and you can't afford to do that trading live. Just remember that. You got to get on the simulator, and you got to take every single trade you think that fits our criteria that I would mark red or blue, and take them all. Don't worry if you're right or wrong. Not till the end of the day. At the end of the day, then go back and study all those trades, and then also study your chart. Look where the big moves happen. Look every single time. Look where the big moves happen. Look where this big move right here took off from, the key entry point. Where did this one take off from? The key entry point. They always take off at the key entry point. Look at these moves here. Look at this move. It takes off from all the support. This one takes off from this minor key entry point, the EMA. Where does this big move down come from? The upper side of the trend channel. That's a key entry point. You got to be careful taking those in a real strong trend, but this one was flat enough, I think you could take it. We weren't even sure there was a bigger trend really there. There probably was. I mean, you can see it here, but we don't know that this is not an overshoot. Maybe, and it might have been an overshoot, because if you bring that down, it fits. So this very well could have been an overshoot. If you read that either way, I wouldn't blame you, because I'm not sure which way is right either. Honestly, I think it's an overshoot. I played it from the high, and it still fits up there. Everything still fits. But when you bring it down, everything still fits. And more of the highs fit. So I think it's probably an overshoot. We were overdone here, making this new high. But notice we had a leg up here. And notice what this was. They were trying to make a measured move. It didn't quite make it, and that's probably what gave it the momentum to overshoot there. So, yeah, a little better today than yesterday, but still not a lot of. For whatever reason, we're not getting the signal bars. At least I'm not on my chart. Maybe your charts are slightly different. I don't know. But doesn't matter. We take what we get and we make the best of it. And the main thing is don't try to force trades. Don't try to manufacture trades that aren't there. The trade's either there and it's following the rules, or it's not. There's no in between. So, if the trade fits the rules, take it. But if it doesn't fit 100%, if the signal bar is close but not quite and everything else looks good, if you take it, you're not following the rules. and you're going to get burned eventually. Everything has to fall in line and be perfect, or you don't take the trade. Because if all that's not perfect, it's not a high probability trade. So you got to remember that and take that into account. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.